Dang on it. Greetings. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on TikTok Live at The Real Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. Welcome this glorious, mystical, magical, miraculous, magnanimous. I'm trying to find all my special M words. Monday, wherever you're on the globe. I want to say today's date is April the 25th, 2022. In the title, you guys see align with your guides and write it. I think I'll put something like that. Align with your guides and write it. So, what do I mean by that? Okay. Well, most of you that are on this type of a journey, ascension path, spiritual awakening, conscious evolving, whatever, adjectives and verbs you choose to equate, that you know that you are here as some type of an earth angel starseed. You know that you came here to awaken yourself on behalf of yourself and then any, ancestries and bloodlines in which you have carnated into. So you know this. And so you have decided to surrender and yield to that journey and process, to heal, to integrate, to accept, all those goodies, letting go of everything, all beliefs, all attachments, everything we've been conditioned into, and just expanding, right? Okay. And, for those of you who resonate in that, okay, this may not be for you. And if it's not for you, that's okay. So I'm only addressing and speaking to individuals that resonate as such, rather divine feminine and divine masculine. If you don't really like using that title, that's why I kind of broaden that, because we get caught up on labels. Essentially, it's people who operate in benevolence, and they came here to heal trauma, to awaken and heal and all of that for themselves and on behalf of the bloodlines, okay? So those of you who have resonated with several stories that I have shared, oh my God, over the last forever ago, but we'll just say the last couple of weeks, all of this realization of the matrix energy, realization of secret societies, rituals, black magic being done almost in reverse. And I'm saying in reverse because the programming has us thinking that those that are of an eccentric background, that they're the ones doing it, when in truth, it's more the organized religious affiliates that are a part of it, or even what I call distorted spiritualists that's even in these similar fields, but they are not awakening, they're not healing, they're not ascending, they're indeed karmic. Okay, we've already talked about what karmic is, okay? And I invite you guys to look at some of my other videos to kind of, especially the one on the narcissistic feminine. It kind of explains my take on that. So, right, that, okay, yeah, people sacrifice you. Chances are it started with your own mother and father, and it started with any of the associations that they have had, and this was kept secret, okay? So they lied to you most of your life. They put hexes on you. And then it went from your parents to your siblings to religious affiliates to, competitors in the field. It just went on and on and on. Exes, ex-lovers, or their exes, their currents, and whatever you want to call it, right? Karmics. Now check. You guys, unfortunately, I know you've heard some of the videos I've done about past life karmic, family members, what had happened. And I just want to say it's very common. A lot of divines may find as they continue to awaken that a lot of people that were in like insane asylums and so forth and other lifetimes traveled here. Okay. They just came in different forms. Okay. So for some of those, they're in that same energy. If you check out that reading that I did about my past life with my karmic family, I talked about what happened. Some revelation came to me more about that same reading. That because as I was doing the reading, I was in the reading, I was like, what happened to this person? I'm like, well, why this? I kept like asking the questions and it was coming out. I was like, okay, so this. Okay. But more came to me that really what happened, it was the same thing. They attempted to kill one of the twins. And then in the last lifetime, they may have been successful at it. And so then what happens is the counterparts decide that, okay, they're going to, next go around when these karmic, people, lunatics or whatever, when they come back around, this time they had made a vow or a contract to like, okay, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to be careful. We're going to make sure that, they protect, one another in that way. Kind of like the Fatal Attraction movie, right? Glenn Close. So I feel like in some cases it was like either they were successful at killing me or they were successful at killing the counterpart and the other life. And that's why back then, I guess they got caught, or the living counterpart, like could have called the cops or some shit like that. And so the karma got put in an insane asylum and they got electric shock therapy to their death. Because they were obsessed. It was a crime of passion. They wouldn't stop. Okay. So I have to add that, again, if you guys have resonated with all of the things I've talked about, it's not just one. Often we had a family of lunatics, okay? But it's hidden. It's hidden. This is the great illusion. But the target and the scapegoat knows full well what's happening because it's happening to them. So this is why everyone else on the outskirts, chances are they're under the spell, because I found out that most of the family members get spells put on them. So this is how they get them to be loyal and faithful and believe them, like especially those that practice that stuff. Sad. It's so unfortunate. But with that being said, it doesn't really end. I was talking to my guides the last couple of days. I was like, I wouldn't have wanted that. I wouldn't have wanted things for folks to have to come to that. But they're aware of it, and they're like, but it is as it is. Because if they were given opportunities to come back in this lifetime, and I'm talking about all karmics who would fall under the category of those that do the black magic, those that are not mentally well, those that were in the lunatic energy in another life, they were granted this. Okay, this time, okay, are you going to learn a lesson? Then are you going to go on your journey to do your own version of healing? Or are you going to still be obsessed with divines? Are you going to still be obsessed with trying to kill them, attached to them, all of your toxicity, your hate for divine feminine, your jealousy of this? Are you going to still, and so at some point, it's like anything else in nature. The power that the divines hold, they hold it because they are delicate. They hold it because chances are, they've gone through, first off, they're earth angels, star seeds, and they've gone through ascensions and healings. And so it's just not in them to want to go about recklessly because they value life. But just like, I've given these examples of the murderer and the judge, and the murderer going to the judge and certain things needing to be determined, and then the judge is final. I've given those examples in the 3D. It's the same in an energy world. Okay? Because divines don't do anything illegally. That's a karmic template. They don't cross boundaries. They don't do anything illegally. They don't go after folks and send someone. All that type of energy is karmic. So the divines, they honor their authority, but when they're guided, they guided from the energetic perspective in their authority in alignment with source based on whatever's going on. They reallocate energy. In other words, all this stuff that these lower frequencies do, whether they're aware of it or not, They have the power and authority to call judgment, to speak it back around, but beyond that, to write it. Source and their spirit guides, under the jurisdiction of the universal laws, will execute accordingly and bring it into Gaia. As they write it, it's because the divines are in order and in alignment. The writing is them bringing it from the ethers. Okay? When we speak, we're speaking it out. We're speaking it out into the universe. We're speaking into the ethers, right? But when divines align, because all the stuff that these toxic or the karmics do, with their parchment papers and all of their altars and all of their things and their whatever versions that they use. Well, if a divine is in order, they can actually take command and authority over it and reallocate it and write it accordingly and ground it in. Okay? And some may not understand that, but that's order. Okay? Because some folks, unfortunately, they won't, you guys. And the universe is fully aware of that, whether or not the individuals that are around them are. Okay? They're fully aware of people who are insistent upon calling themselves taking some type of vengeance or calling themselves tapping into spell work and, fucking up their lives, doing shit that they gonna wish they didn't. But they're aware, or even when people are coming from the more traditional space, because like I said, for divine beings, believe it or not, it's not quite what you think. I had to learn this painfully. Painfully. It's not what you think, see. It's the great disguise. I call it the great switch. The switch. Okay? The illusion. You think by running to a church that this was the ticket and you ran right into it. Because spelling is simply spelling. People are so stuck on the TV movie versions of what we would classify as, air quote, black magic. But yes, there are some that's on that side. But in my case, and a lot that resonate with me, you all were hit on both sides. You had the people in the arena that's literally, it could be secret, but they do the whole calling on the deities and the entities and doing the chants and the voodoo dolls and the, all of that sort of shits. And you also have it on the other side where it's people who say they're believers. Okay. They go to church, they do this and they do that. But in their mindset or beliefs or whatever it is, they speak. Hear me out. Speaking is spelling. Speaking is spelling. Okay? Praying is spelling. It is. And if it is something that's being done based on one's disillusionment, karmic template programs, that one is speaking things out of their mouth of death, of sickness, disease, pestilence. If it's a lie, if it's that, right? That's the same thing. They're all getting it. It's the same thing. It's spelling. Okay? So, you have to understand. I'm sorry, hold on. For them, we have to understand that they're not able to compute or to care about how it's going to affect innocent lives. So the lives of innocent children, that's the part that's heartbreaking. But see, they count on it. Some of the narcissistic types, they count on divines being empathetic and sensitive to children. They may not care about yours and will rip yours apart if they could. But they count on us being empathetic and sympathetic to theirs. So we have to ask for strength from our guides to be almost neutral and to put our feelings aside, our emotions aside to get the job done. And what I mean by getting the job done, I'm talking about from an energetic perspective, the place that your guides are giving you to deal. Because lunatics and narcissists bank on people having compassion. If they don't have compassion on them anymore, then they're banking on them having compassion because of the innocent little children. Okay, so this is why we have to ask for the strength and ability to shut the emotion off to a degree in order to do what our guidance team is asking of us to enact and to ensure that the job is done. You should not have to feel bothered and harassed and bogged down because there was a whole slew of lunatic karmic energies surrounding your life. If they followed you from the insane asylum, it may be a lineup. We have to ask for the strength of toughness in a sense, because it's time for healing and freedom. And some people, like I said, some people won't stop and they're going to do it into their death. Okay? Calling themselves doing a vengeance for this one and that one. So there's other lunatics. Okay? So this may help you. If you know that they follow you on social media and you have created like a block list, or certain people, certain comments, and you've managed to, collect and make a list, it may help you to go and pull that list as you're guided. Meditate and go pull the list. And those that you have identified as karmics, those that you know and have identified as doing black magic, those that you know and have identified as, even religious, but they speak negative things over you. Those that you have identified and can sense it and have been given guidance, pull the list and write them down. Even if it's a fake profile, a fake name, a fake angle. Okay? The energy is the same. So pull the list, write it down. And then as you're guided, declare their judgment. Okay? Bring it into the earth. If you want to make it a ritual, returning to sender what they have done. If you want to ask for guidance on how to do that so that you yourself are not violating law, okay, and boundaries and things like that, okay, return to sender, but the execution of the judgment accordingly. Okay, then after you're finished with the writing it, if you want to bury it into earth or burn it or something like that, putting a time release, but as you're guided. Okay, because unfortunately, there are some of us that have had so many karmics that just don't make no sense. My counterpart is one of them. I do believe and feel like that's why he became what he became. His associates, his friends, the women he chose and all sorts of things. I really feel like that's what got him kind of messed up. And if you're unsure, if you feel like your divine counterpart has, if you feel like they've reneged, there's a special way your guides will give you of how to determine that for them. Okay? I did a reading the other day, like we can forfeit, and for different reasons. It's always different reasons, but at the end of the day, all I'm saying is if you know you're on this path and you're surrendering the best you know how every day of your life, you're healing, you're repairing on behalf of yourself, your children, you have a right to be clear and free of people who are hell-bent on being in that energy. And, it's no longer about the passivity of things. You have the power to say, okay, aligning your heart, making sure this is in alignment, but they keep fucking with you. Keep playing in your energy. Keep playing in your son's energy. Or your daughter, and keep violating your privacy, violating your rights, violating your property, violating your physicality, stalking, trolling, stealing, lying. They keep in that energy. I'm calling it. I'm just simply calling it. Because some are going to have to be taken out by the undertakers. Anubis is coming. Or waiting, I should say. All these entities and things that they have sent has to be reallocated. Okay? So empower yourself, whether you are a divine feminine or a masculine. But I'm speaking directly to those who are yielding, those who are surrendering and healing. But to those who have gone in distortion, woe unto you. I'll just say that. Woe unto you, those of you who have partnered up with and remained in karmic energies and are trying to come against the divines or trying to still somehow stay in their energy. There's penalties that are being executed. Okay? All right, you guys. That's it. Love and light. Namaste.